Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What's going on, guys? This is a special video, a special live video today. That's going to be an open spoiler talk about Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1, and a preview of what is to come in Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2. Did I say Season 1 episode? I meant Season 2, Episode 1 spoiler discussion, and Season 2, Episode 2 preview of what's to come tomorrow, or I should say in about 6 hours, because last week they dropped the episode at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah, that's what's going on. Before I get into that, though, I want to remind you guys, if you're loving the content on the channel and all that stuff, make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, ding the bell, all that fun jazz. I mean, we definitely want to keep building the community, building the channel, so make sure you guys take care of all that stuff. So how do you guys interact with this? It's really simple. A couple few different ways. You can hit me up on Facebook and Twitter at MovieIdiot1. You can send in emails, themovieidiot@gmail.com, although that's more for main topics for the main Movie Idiot show. But the best way, of course, to interact with the show is the tip link, streamlabs.com/movieidiots. That's the best way, because when you do that, you support the show, you help, and honestly, it's just really great, because then I can afford to have better devices so I can have my guest on. I was supposed to have a guest tonight. I'm sorry, Jake. Jake was going to join me tonight. Huge Star Wars guy, and he was going to be awesome, but unfortunately my capture card wasn't working correctly, so that's why I need people to tip, right? That's what we're looking for. So anyway, but those are the ways. And of course, in the comments section, we are streaming live right now on Twitch. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Facebook. So you guys can comment on all of those platforms and interact with the show that way as well. All right. So I think I got all the business stuff out of the way. So as you see, John donated $83. Thank you, John. That's really nice of you. Cool. So, yeah, that's what happens when you guys tip. You get your name in a big blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all right. Let's talk Mandalorian Season 2 spoilers. And, guys, oh, my God. So, I wanted to do this last Friday night, to be honest. But then, life happened, and I wasn't able to get to it. Hey, sue me. I work a lot. So I decided to do it as more of a preview for the upcoming show. So last week, first of all, I want to give my initial thoughts on the episode. My fear, and I said this on my main Movie Idiot show, my fear was that The Mandalorian is such a great show, and it was so awesome, and everything last season was magnificent. And what I was afraid of is that they would, especially, I'm not the biggest Dave Filoni guy. And he's one of the main directors, producers of the show. But he has a love affair with like characters like Ahsoka Tano and certain things like that. And I was afraid that Dave would want to fall into the trap that maybe like The Rise of Skywalker did, where it's like, look, here's all this Star Wars shit. That's not what The Mandalorian is. Mandalorian is based in the Star Wars universe, but it is a Western by default. Like, this show is basically, if you took away the Star Wars and just stripped that away and then threw on like the old spaghetti Western motif, it literally still works. The stories are Westerns. It's about a man and his travels throughout the outer realms or the outer reaches. And that's what this is about at its core. And I was afraid that they were going to, instead of keep it like that, they were going to change it and make it about Star Wars. Because there's a huge, and then, there's rumors that, certain characters are going to show up, like Ahsoka Tano. And then I'm going to talk about the character that did show up in episode 1 in a minute. So I was afraid that they were going to be like, okay, let's just jump right into the Star Wars thing. Nope. Jon Favreau wrote and directed this episode 1, and he did a phenomenal job of making sure that this stuck to that. He doubled down on the Western theme and on the themes of what Mandalorian has been since it started. This is a Western. This is in a Star Wars universe, and he doubled down on it, and it is awesome. It is awesome. I just I cannot gush enough about this first episode. So, and I was worried when it first started too, because they went back to Tatooine. My least favorite episode of last season was the episode in Tatooine. And for all the things that I just said, I felt like the last episode in Tatooine was really all about that. Look, Star Wars, here's the cantina, here's Tatooine, here's this, here's that. There was almost none of that, except for the R5 appearance. But I didn't even mind the R5 appearance because instead of being like, look, it's R5, R5 had a function for the story, showing Mando the map on where the town is. So, and I loved how they had the broken motivator on the back, or the, should I say, like the weld lines where they fixed the broken motivator on the back of him. I thought that was an awesome touch. So if you're gonna have that kind of stuff, they really did pay attention to their details. It was great. And that's the point I think I wanted to make here. My overall of this episode is that they did a great job of, yes, it's back in Tatooine, but Tatooine is where he needed to be. He's trying to find another Mandalorian. He's trying to find out, somebody just donated. Thank you. Sunglasses at Night donated $1. Says, how much is the card? I'll buy my way onto the show. It's gotta be Jake. It's not that cheap. It's okay, man. I'll have it taken care of by next week, Jake. I promise. Thank you, though. Thank you for offering, man. That's awesome. And thank you for donating. I appreciate it. So anyway, that was great. So I guess the point I was making is that they did such a great job of, okay, we're going back to Tatooine, but that is part of the story. It's part of Mando's journey. It's what he's trying to do. And God damn it, it was so perfectly done. So let's start with that early part. So, it kind of picks up right where it left off, but not exactly where it left off. So, and that was a cool thing too, because, I was kind of wondering, are they going to pick up right with the Darksaber and right with, Moff Gideon and all that? And no, they did not pick up right there. Instead, they just kind of pick up with Mando and the child and talking about how he needs to find baby Yoda's people, or the child's people. Now, I still am not sure exactly what they even mean by that. When she was talking to him, she said there was an ancient order of Jedi who used to be, enemies of the Mandalorians. My question then is she thinking that the child's people are like his species, like the Yoda species, since we really don't know what that's called? Or is she thinking the child's people are like Jedi? Are they just the Jedi? I'm leaning towards the Jedi. I'm thinking that when they're referring to you have to find his people, and that's probably where Ahsoka Tano is going to come into this season. I think that they're talking about the Jedi specifically. Again, just speculation, but that's what it seems to be that they're leaning towards. So anyway, his quest is to find, the child's people. Well, his initial, thought is to find more Mandalorians. And so then you start with that opening scene with the big, where he walks into basically an MMA match, which was so cool. And they got like the little MMA thing going on. And, God, what a great casting too for that initial, let's just call him a villain, but that dude he was meeting with John Leguizamo playing that guy. And, dude, John Leguizamo kills it in like creature character roles. He is amazing, and I'm so glad they brought him in. And I'm so unfortunately sad that he's not gonna be a part of. Probably, we don't know if he died for sure. They never actually showed him dying, so he may be back. But anyway, so he meets with John Leguizamo's character. They're in this like MMA match area. Everybody's betting. They got the two. I forget what they're called, but the two guys, correct me in the comments if you guys know what those guys are called. I can never remember, but they're from Return of the Jedi. They're the little pig-looking dudes, and they're fighting each other. Loved that scene, by the way, too, with the axes and how, like, every time they clanged axes, it was like a force field that, like, the axes never really touched. It was like force field bouncing off of it. It was so cool looking. The special effects, by the way, were unreal in this. And I'll get to that more when we get to later. Gamorreans, thank you. Yes, Jake says Gamorreans, yes. So, when the two Gamorreans are fighting, and then all of a sudden, the dudes that Mando's talking to, his guy is losing, so vibroblades, Jake said. They're vibroblades. See, this is why I have to have you on, Jake. I was hoping to get it. We'll get it by next week, Jake. Vibroblades. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Anyway, so his guy's losing. He shoots his own dude and then turns on Mando, and that's the scene that we all saw in the trailer where Baby Yoda closes the egg up, and then you see the little, the birds or whatever the hell those things are called, where Mando just takes out everybody all at once. And that fight scene, how the hell did they, dude, the dude that they have doing the fight choreography for Mando on this show is phenomenal. He's in this big clunky suit with this big helmet, and that scene was phenomenal. Dude, especially when the dude went to punch him and he just like headbutted his fist, and then, oh my God, dude. I was like, oh, it was great. That was great. So obviously Mando kicks the shit out of all the henchmen, drags this dude out. The dude's, begging for his life. Please don't kill me. And I love the line, Mando, you will not die by my hand. You knew that fucker was dead right then and there. Perfectly done. Hangs him upside down. Gets the info out of him that he needs. The guy tells him that there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine. And then he leaves him. He shoots out the light and leaves him for dead with all the red-eyed, which we don't even really know what those are, all the animals, because we never saw them other than their red eyes. Somebody was saying that maybe they thought they were Jawas. No, they are not Jawas. Whatever those things are, they're angry and they're hungry. But anyway, great opening to the whole thing. And away we go, right? So Mando heads to Tatooine, and he runs back into Amy Sedaris' character, which I do not like her. I'm sorry, it's the one thing. Like, can she just not be there anymore? She doesn't fit. She just doesn't fit. I'm sorry, Amy Sedaris, sorry. Look, she's a funny lady, and that's great. She doesn't fit this show, in my opinion. So she's the one thing I don't like. But So he gets there, he gets off the plane, she's yelling at her droids, stay away from him, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you like droids now? Because he's like, no, they can do a once-over or whatever. And then we see R5. Again, initially, when I first saw R5, I was like, oh, see, here we go. Just like last Tatooine episode, it's, oh, here's more Star Wars stuff. But no, R5 actually had narrative purpose. He was the key to Mando finding out where the city is. R5 shows him the map. She points out on the map where to go, and away we go. So he heads off to the town, bringing Baby Yoda with him this time, not leaving him with Amy Sedaki's character. Heads off to the town, gets to the town, starts talking to the bartender, and then we see, now this episode was called The Marshal. So then we see the Marshal, because he's talking to the bartender. He's like, hey, I'm looking for a Mandalorian. The bartender's like, what's a Mandalorian? And he's like, well, a guy who looks like me. And he's like, well, then you mean the Marshal. And then there's the Marshal right at the door. And I love how when you see the Marshal at the door, it's Boba Fett's armor. But it doesn't fit him right. Like, his arms look scrawny and skinny in it. Like, I thought that was an amazing touch by Jon Favreau to show that, like, yeah, it's Mando's, or not, it's not Mando's, it's Boba Fett's armor, but it's not Boba Fett. That was not Boba Fett in any way. And that was such an amazing touch on the side of Jon Favreau, I thought. So anyway, he walks in, and they start talking, and you knew right away when the Marshal orders 2 gazpachos and then starts walking to the table. Like, the whole time as he's walking to the table with these 2 drinks in that bottle, I'm like, how are they going to drink that when they can't take their helmets off? Sure enough, Marshal sits down, takes off his helmet, and it's Timothy Oliphant's character. And he... And immediately I'm like, that ain't a Mandalorian. That's not Boba. And so you can see it on Mando's face too. When that happened, it was like a visual. And God, how do they show emotions through a masked suit? But somehow you see him, he freezes like, you're not a Mandalorian. Like, almost immediately. Just the way I don't know how he did it, but man, it was good. So obviously you could tell Mando figures out right away that's not a Mandalorian. And so, yeah, take it off. Take off the suit. Immediately, that's what he says. Take off the suit. Take it off. And then they're about to duel, right? So then, the Marshal's like, look, I mean, there's only one way this is going to happen, where one of us walks out. Pure Western motif, dude. It was perfect. It was so well done. Again, that Western feel, everything that a Western is, that's what they did. And so they're standing there ready to duel, and all of a sudden the whole ground shakes. And they start, and it's like, I love too how it's like, let's put a pin in this whole duel to the death thing and check and see what that is. And neither one of them shoots each other in the back or anything else. They just walk outside and check it out. And it was Dune-esque, I'd like to say. Kind of like sandworms, the way this thing was flowing through town, but it was a dragon. It was the dragon thing. I forget the actual name of the dragon. Jake, if you're watching, correct me on the name of the dragon. But it's the dragon thing. And it's plowing down Main Street of the town, going, and then, what a great scene too. They're just standing there and the whole street's moving like it's a river of sand. So cool. Again, the special effects in this episode were unreal. So then it goes and it eats the bantha, and then it's gone. And then they start to make the deal. And basically the deal is, he's like, look, you want the armor back. The Marshal says, you want the armor back, and I need this dragon killed. Let's make a deal. They make the deal, and there we go. So, moving forward in the plot now. They start to kind of plot this out, and it brings them to the Sand People. they start heading towards to kill this thing, and they run into the sand people. I love this opening scene because they're walking through this little like rock area or whatever, and all of a sudden the dogs come up to them and like they're petting them or whatever, and or the Marshal's freaking out, and then Mando starts petting them, and again, like, at first you're like, wait a minute, how the hell does he know that? Hi, Shawnee Sean, how's it going? Shawnee Sean says hello. And Shawnee Sean liked the stream. Thank you, Shawnee Sean. So anyway, I'll wait for that to finish. All right. So anyway, so then, Mando is petting the little dogs or whatever. And, at first I'm like, how does he know that? But then I remembered earlier when he was talking, he said that he has spent a lot of time on Tatooine. So it kind of made sense that, he'd be familiar with the little dog things or whatever. And he was definitely familiar with sand people because he immediately knew their language and was able to communicate with them, which was really weird, honestly, when he was like, "Arr!" I was dying. I was like, oh my God, did not expect that. Really cool. So they start talking to the sand people, and of course, the sand people explain that, they want to kill this thing too. And they start going over the plan, and basically they're like, well, I love the part where they're going over the plan. They have the little like dragon and the little rocks that are supposed to be the people, and the Marshal's like, is that to scale? And the Mando asks him, and he's like, yep, that's to scale. He's like, oh my God, that's big. So anyway, they realize, and Mando makes the deal that they need the village people. And again, this is such a classic Western motif where, you have the Marshal, you have the vagabond traveler guy, and that guy's got to save the day, and they end up having to have the townspeople work with the like the indigenous people, and like they classic Western. Like, you've seen this 1,000 times in spaghetti westerns, and like I could have swore it was directed and written by Clint Eastwood, which would be awesome actually, but I digress. So anyway, Mando offers up the townspeople. They go to the town. They start explaining this to the town. The town does not want to work with the sand people. And Mando convinces them. Basically, saying, look, I know these people. Yes, they are raiders. Yes, they have attacked you, but they are people of their word. And they said that, if you help them kill this dragon, that they will leave you alone unless you break the peace. Which I feel like that is going to be important later. They really hammered that home, unless you break the peace. So I have a feeling that's going to come back around at some point. But I don't know. So we'll have to see. So, obviously, townspeople agree. They start working on the plan. Again, there's always got to be some conflict, right? So, they're loading up all the bombs, and the one sand person drops the bomb, and the other townsperson starts screaming at him. The Marshal steps in between them, calms it down. Like, again, just great Western vibes all the way around. Like, it's Jon Favreau has done such a great job of maintaining that, and it works so well for the show. So good. So then it's time, right? Another cool thing, like, as the sand people were approaching, really good score as they're approaching on the Banthas. Then you see them all on the Banthas going to kill this dragon. And again, the music was amazing. Just a great visuals, too. Oh, my God, all of those landscape visuals. And then you get to the scene where they start taking on the dragon. And first things first, aspect ratio. It goes into full IMAX view. I flipped out. I'm like, oh my God, the screen's getting bigger. I flipped out. Visually stunning, by the way. Just amazing. So aspect ratio changes, and I just can't explain how much I love this scene. So the whole plan was they have the sand person bring the bantha up to the opening of the cave. Then then the dragon's supposed to come out and eat the bantha, or come out after the bantha, and they had buried all the bombs underneath, so they're going to blow it up because you have to hit the underbelly because that's supposed to be the weak spot of this dragon. The sand person, one of them brings the bantha up to the open of the cave. The dragon starts coming out, eats the sand guy instead, leaves the bantha alone, but it doesn't come out far enough, so they have to try to draw it out. They finally draw it out. Boom! Blow up the bombs. Immediately, Mando and the dude look at each other. That didn't work. And they were right. That didn't work. And the next part of the scene was amazing, how the dragon went up through like the mountain behind it. This thing is huge. So, also, by the way, just the way... There's one thing that was a little off on this whole episode, I think. Excuse me. One thing that was a little off on the whole episode, I think, was how well the Marshal used Boba Fett's armor. And they showed it right away when he got it. Oh, yeah, I didn't touch on that. So they did the flashback scene where the Marshal gets Boba Fett's armor. And he got it from the Jawas, basically after the second Death Star was destroyed. All the mining people came into town. And the Marshal got chased off, was in the middle of the desert, passes out. The Jawas find him, and he just happened to make off with those crystals, so the Jawas were basically going to give him anything because those are super valuable. So he gets the armor and immediately goes right back into town and is able to use the armor like it's nothing. And I felt like they had already established last season that jetpacks and all the stuff with the armor, it's not easy to do, and this guy just picked it up like that. So I think that's the one inconsistency in the show, but I'm willing to overlook it because it was awesome. It was awesome. So anyway, so Mando, Marshal take off after the dragon after the failed attempt to blow it up. They're trying to, shoot it and whatever. None of that shit's working. Like, it's basically impermeable. And then the scene where Mando turns to the Marshal and he's like, hey, watch the child. I knew right then and there, okay, we're going in. It's like, what was the line in the Avengers? Do you know the story of, I think it was Jonah? And that's where you go into the beast and kill it from the inside, basically. And, yep, sure enough, Mando's standing by the bantha. He's trying to hold it and keep it from running away. This bantha has all these bombs on it, and it eats them. He shocks it to get it to open its mouth, flies out, blows up the bombs, thing destroyed. Very cool, very awesome scene. And Mando's just standing there all stoically dripping in. By the way, his armor must be... really good, because obviously that dragon was spitting out acid and melting people and didn't affect Mando at all. Now, maybe it only works, the acid only works if it spits it out. Maybe it's a gland or something and he just didn't get, I don't know. Either way, again, I was willing to overlook it because it was awesome. So, dragon's dead. Flashing forward to the next scene, aspect ratio comes back. And then a couple of things that were so awesome. One, the big fillet of meat that Mando has on the back of the speeder. And there's Baby Yoda just chilling, I also love how Baby Yoda did not take over this episode. Like, I felt like that was another thing that could have happened where, Baby Yoda's popular. Let's do more Baby Yoda. No, it's the perfect amount of Baby Yoda. They did such a great job with that, too. And so Baby Yoda's sitting there. They got the big fillet of meat. And then they show the sand people, and they find the pearl. Now, some of you may or may not know, but that pearl is a reference to a video game. I think it was Old Republic. And there's a level in there, I guess, where you kill the dragon and get the pearl. And that's exactly what it is. That's a pearl. Also in some Star Wars lore, I can't remember if it's a book or something that referenced. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff is non-canonical, but it looks like they're incorporating some of it into Mando. But there was a reference somewhere in Star Wars lore where pieces of those pearls could actually be used to make lightsabers. So... who knows if that pearl is going to come up later, or if it's just a pearl and it was just a little Easter egg from the video game. Don't know. Jon Favreau has done such a great job usually of dropping little things that come back, and I have a feeling that's going to be something later. But it could have just been a little Easter egg. Who knows? So, at the pearl, Mando's got his big hunk of meat, and that's pretty much it. Then, episode over, and then you get to the two suns of Tatooine, and here's the scene. You got the two suns, and it's expanding out, and then there's a dude. Who's that dude? And that dude turns around, and it's that face. Now, the question is, who is this guy? Now, why would I ask that? You saw his face. Well, here's the thing. Everybody thinks it's Boba Fett. Not everybody, but a lot of people think it's Boba Fett. This face is actually the face of Jango Fett, which we all know is dead. He died in the prequels. But Jango is the guy that they made all the clones after, and Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett. The difference between the rest of all the clone army and Boba Fett is the clone army was genetically engineered to age quickly, whereas Boba Fett was just a direct clone of Jango Fett as his child, basically. That was his one thing that he wanted when he offered himself up to be cloned, was that. So Boba Fett ages at a normal pace. So chances are, because that guy didn't look very old, that it is Boba Fett. But there is a slight chance it could be Captain Rex or one of the other clones, possibly. So we don't really know. Excuse me. We don't really know. But I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to find out. So big unanswered question there, but it was still really cool. Obviously, zooming out again, there he is. Most likely it's Boba Fett. And end of episode right there. And again, awesome job by Jon Favreau. I cannot stress enough how amazing the visuals looked. God, it was top. Obviously, their budget increased, which, hey, give them what they want, man. Like, they're killing it. And also, awesome job with the storyline. I thought Timothy Olyphant was great as the Marshal. Cad Bane, that's the Marshal's name, Cad Bane, which, again, is another character that was in books that were non-canonical, but obviously they're using him in some way. So, but Timothy Olyphant was great. Again, John Leguizamo was great in the beginning as kind of the bad mob boss dude. The whole episode, top to bottom, was amazing. Just amazing. And I can't gush enough about it. What do you guys, give me your guys' thoughts here. I would love to hear what you guys thought about the episode. Again, I can't gush enough about it. I thought it was amazing from top to bottom. And I can't wait for episode 2. And well, I'm waiting for you guys to comment here. Let me, again, guys, comment. Let me know what you guys thought about episode 1. What were your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not? Were there certain characters that sucked? Did you think it was that Boba Fett at the end? What? Talk to me, people. Talk to me. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, while I'm waiting for comments, I do want to jump over and start talking about what's going to be episode 2. Also known as chapter 10. I also love how they're doing the chapters thing. So this is chapter 10, but it's season 2, episode 2. And this one's going to be called The Confrontation, according to this little article that I've pulled up. According to Rotten Tomatoes, they have episode 2 listed as The Confrontation. So there isn't anything else. I don't think we can find a synopsis or anything else on it, but I was able to find the name, The Confrontation. So I'm curious to know, confrontation with who? Obviously, we don't know where he's going to go yet. Is this a confrontation with Boba? So is he going to stay on Tatooine? Or whoever that was. Is he going to stay on Tatooine? Is he going to confront that guy? Is he going, where is this going? What is this confrontation going to be? I'm stoked to find out. And again, we find out in about 6 hours, a little less than 6 hours from now. Again, what is this confrontation? That's what I'm curious to know. And again, I've done, quite a bit of research here to try and figure out if there's any... here's another article that says the source, the plot summary is unclear, but basically all we know is that this is called The Confrontation. So, yep. So I'll read up on this. I'll read. Actually, here, let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Give me a second. Boot. Maybe not. I don't know. What are we thinking here? I guess not. It doesn't like it. Weird. Hold on. Nope, not that one. Don't know why it's not showing it. Well, all right. Well, it's just not showing it, so that's fine. But yeah, so it's called The Confrontation. I'll just read this off really quick. At the end of the Marshal, Tamara Morrison made a spectacular return to the galaxy far, far away. He appeared only briefly, watching as Din Djarin, which is the obviously the Mandalorian, left Tatooine on a pod racer with Boba Fett's armor. So again, I don't think that's accurate because he didn't leave Tatooine. He just left where the dragon was or whatever on the speeder. So we didn't see him leave Tatooine. But anyway, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm haven't confirmed whether or not Morrison is actually playing the famed bounty hunter who is thought to have died in The Return of the Jedi. The Mandalorian is yet to call him by name either. So again, we don't know who this is. I don't think Mando is making it, especially with the name of the episode being called The Confrontation. I really don't think that Mando is making it off Tatooine yet. I really don't think that's happening. That's my guess. I really don't think so. I think the confrontation is going to go right into the confrontation with whoever that was, most likely Boba Fett. That's my opinion. I don't know. Do you guys think so? Let me know in the comments again. If anybody out there is watching, let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that it is actually Boba Fett or not? And is that who this confrontation is going to be with? I think the confrontation is going to be with that guy. And I think it's going to be glorious, you guys. I think it's going to be glorious. I cannot wait. I'm so stoked. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Hopefully by next week, I can get my capture card working or have a new capture card so that I can get Jake on, because I did want to have Jake on to kind of bounce stuff off. But unfortunately, was not able to do that. You guys are missing out because Jake is a Star Wars connoisseur, let's just say. And he had a lot of surprises in store for us tonight, and I ain't spoiling shit. So it's going to be awesome. So hopefully by next week we'll get it all squared away and I can have Jake back on and we'll get that taken care of. In the meantime, just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Jake for donating tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then I think there was one other dude who donated as well. Thank you guys. Those donations help keep the channel going. And so please, tip comments are the best because we want to keep this community going. And again, don't forget, of course, to subscribe, like, bell, all that stuff, on follow, whatever you gotta do all that fun stuff. And I am gonna be doing the Movie Idiot Show tomorrow, but it's either gonna be at 8 a.m. or it's gonna be later. I have not decided which yet. So we'll do the full Movie Idiot Show tomorrow. One of the two will happen. I'll keep you posted. Most likely 8 a.m. I think I'm gonna do 8 a.m. because I have something that I have to do at 10. So most likely tomorrow 8 a.m. we'll do the full Movie Idiot show. We'll go over all the week's movie and TV news and everything. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. So thank you again for watching and checking in. Jake, thank you. Sean, thank you for checking in. Again, Jake, thank you for the donation. And John, I think it was the other guy who donated as well. Appreciate it. And I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys again. And I will catch you all later. Peace.